Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey, and I wanted to start off by saying happy belated Valentine's Day to everybody listening. And also, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the delayed episode, as I know as you're listening, it's not released on Monday on time. It should still come out Monday, though, as I'm currently recording it today as I am speaking. It is Monday. I'm going to work my ass off to get this out to y'all, so please bear with me, and again, I am sorry. It's just been a hectic week with a hectic weekend. Working a shit ton. I worked at the mall, Sunrise Records, and also my buddy, my roommate, Alex. Happy birthday, my guy. He is 30. 30 years old, 30 trips around the sun. That is something that needs to be celebrated, and hence why, another reason, I am late this week. Again, I apologize. It's been hectic. It's been busy. I've been busy. Please bear with me. And in saying all of that, I do want to say for a second time, happy birthday, Alex. I hope all your dreams come true. I know that sounds really cheesy and cliche, but I'm just being honest. You deserve it. And here's to your next 30 years, man. Toast to you. Anyways, to touch on something else other than that, it has been a crazy week also because of the Four Nations face-off. I think that's what they're calling it, Four Nations tournament, whatever you want to call it, has started for hockey. And currently, Canada hasn't been doing their best. I know that is a little bit concerning to say. Currently, USA is on top of the tournament. They haven't lost a game. Canada, they started it against Sweden, and they beat them, but only in overtime. Oh my goodness, was that ever was that ever a tight game? I was on the edge of my seat. The fact that they even won that, I was shocked. I didn't think it would be that close, and yet it still was. Canada ended up winning in overtime. Mitch Marner, he got the fucking OT winner, and I yelped. I yelped to scream so loud that my roommate downstairs, Alex, the one that turned 30, was a little bit miffed, I think. Said I sounded like a woman. Didn't really appreciate that, but all the same, I can't help but being excited. It's just how I am, man. Accept it or just fucking get out. Honestly, I'm super, super happy they won that game. But then the next game that happened on Saturday, we lost, and that was against USA. And that loss hurt. Let me tell you, okay, so mind you, go back probably 9 years at this point. Team Canada, last time they played, they won every game. Ever since Sidney Crosby has wore a Team Canada jersey, Team Canada has won every single game when it comes to the best on best. And in saying that, we ended up losing to USA. And that really hurts me because I am somebody that has a lot of pride, obviously, in Team Canada, in the best on best, be it Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, that line itself, like literally first minute of the very first game of the tournament against Sweden, that line scored. First penalty kill, or first power play rather, first everything. It went from McDavid to Crosby to McKinnon in the net. Fucking dirty. Absolutely filthy lineup. So good. It reminds me of being a kid and that feeling of sitting in front of the TV and seeing these larger than life stars put on your country's colors and go out to represent your country that you have this pride for. And granted, I have all my pride for this country because of my dad, because of everything that he was taught and the things that he just kind of passed on to me, the tradition of cheering for Team Canada and being incredibly passionate. It is ingrained to me in my core. Sitting there in front of the TV now, it is like those memes of, be it Homer Simpson as a kid and then as an adult watching TV or anything of the similar sense. Those are real. That feeling of nostalgia of being that kid in front of that TV set, I'm brought right back to it. And it makes my heart full, and I really just want Canada to win. I know it's hockey, I know it's sports. It's not everything we talk about on this podcast, but I must say I am excited, I am passionate, and I want Canada to win. anyone who's listening, if you don't care about hockey, give Canada your support, please, just for me, if you will. And if you do support another team in the tournament, tell me how they're doing. I'd love to talk about it. I love hockey, so I'm obviously down. Otherwise, though, back to the point of it, on Saturday, we went against USA. And that game, mind you, even though we lost in the end, it started unlike any game I and everyone else in the whole entire hockey world have ever seen before. Unlike anything. First 8 minutes of the game, three fights. Gloves dropped, punches thrown. Full on fights. That doesn't happen. Not in international hockey. And that's something you have to remember. This is the NHL still. This tournament, this Four Nations face-off thing, is ran by the NHL, so it's a little bit different than international hockey. Whereas international hockey, IIHF, you're most likely going to get kicked out of the fucking tournament for throwing fists, for throwing them hands. And it can't be said the same for NHL. NHL, they kind of like their fights. And I must say, it was a spectacle to see both brothers on the USA team, the Tkachuk brothers, getting into fights, Matthew Tkachuk getting fucking tossed, and then Brady tossing us back, and then the final fight, after a shot on net by Canada, and a little bit of, hitting the goalie's pads and gloves, obviously, the guy on USA wanted to fight us more than we wanted to fight them. They still dropped gloves, we fought. So we won, I want to say 2 or 3 fights, but we did lose the game overall, 3-1. Wasn't super happy about it, still not. It still kind of stings, but we did, at least today, this morning, the reason why this episode isn't out earlier, mind you, Team Canada win against Finland. And Finland, we almost lost. I will tell you this, we were winning like 4-0 into the third the whole game. Last, I want to say, 4 minutes of the game, they pulled their goalie and scored twice in a row to where we were almost going to lose. Very close to losing. I think it was 4-1 when they pulled the goalie. Scored twice in a row. It was 4-3. And luckily, Sidney Crosby got out on ice, got hit in a weird position on the center of the ice, got the puck to him, instantly down the ice into the empty net, got the goal, saying, "All right, everybody, chill the fuck out. We are going to the finals, and we are going to prove ourselves and show that we're not somebody to be messed with. We are Team Canada, and our hockey nation is not one to overlook." Hopefully that can be the case. We are getting the chance to go against the United States again because we won today. Very exciting, very big. I'm incredibly hyped. If you can't tell, I cannot wait. The game is on Thursday. Canada, USA, back at it again for, well, the whole tournament. I don't know what they win, if it's a cup, if it's trophies. I'm not really sure, even if it's medals. Regardless, I really hope Canada can pull out the win, the rematch win, and prove to the USA that losing was a fluke. So, granted, that is me being a little cocky. It couldn't go any way. It can go either way. Just gotta hope for the best. And Finland, thanks for an amazing game earlier today. And Captain Canada, Crosby, thank you for securing that win and calming down your team. Here's hoping that we can pull off a win against the United States on Thursday. With all of that said, though, I want to touch on what actually happened last Monday, I believe, when I was recording the last episode. The Super Bowl. The fucking Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Eagles. Kansas and Philadelphia. Them going at it in New Orleans. Or New Orleans. Sorry for saying it like a white person. Kansas and Philadelphia. They went at it, and Kansas did not show up. Now, bear with me here. Before I get into that, I do want to say the pre-show. I have to shout out the pre-show. Again, Lady Gaga. Killing it. I don't know what she's doing, if she's just trying to get hype, if she's just supporting what she loves. God, I adore her. I respect her. She has gained a new fan within me because she went out during the pre-show and performed Hold My Hand on Bourbon Street in New Orleans as a tribute to the victims of the New Year's terrorist attack. I have to say, Lady Gaga, I give my heart to you. You earn my respect, along with everyone that was watching, I have to assume. Bless. Thank you for that performance. It was amazing. It was very heartfelt, and I honestly adored it. Next up, though, unfortunately, as everything was getting settled after that performance, and they were getting the anthem underway to then follow the coin toss to see who got possession, Donald Trump showed up, and his family, with Ivanka, and I believe his kid, can't remember for sure. I wasn't a huge fan, but turns out I wasn't the only one that wasn't a huge fan, because he got booed. Granted, I don't think they really showed it on TV, but if you went to social media, there's a literal photo of him waving to the crowd and just somebody flipping him off. It was good. It was funny. I got a chuckle out of it anyways. And yeah, he was not the most welcome person there, and it makes sense as to why. I know why he was there in terms of apparently he likes the Chiefs, but he hates Taylor Swift and made sure everyone knew it yet again, as Taylor Swift was there with Ice Spice, and when she was shown on camera, on the Jumbotron if you will, she was booed big time by the whole entire stadium. No idea why. Even the teammates on the Philadelphia Eagles did not understand why either. Very, very confusing. They're like, alright, she's literally Taylor Swift. She was in this stadium before, sold out for probably many nights in a row, and this is how we treat her. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. Swifties obviously seem to have more class than the football players, football fans rather, and I'm calling them out right now. It's not fair. It's not cool. Why, when the players are able to come to a Eras tour or a Swiftie show, something Taylor Swift is doing, we don't boo them. Yet she gets booed when she is at their event. It doesn't make sense. It's not very cool. I wish people would just respect each other, and that even goes down another further tangent of people booing other nations' anthems at games now. It's not great. I understand why it's happening because of the political climate. I understand that people do not like Donald Trump, and that is a lot of what started all of this. Not saying everything is his fault, but holy fuck, it sure feels like it. And I don't want to place any blame here. Again, I'm not that kind of podcast, but all the same, I can understand where it's coming from. I just don't know why we are entertaining it and not just trying to speak how we feel in ways that isn't just booing people. That's going to do nothing. I know that we need to make our voice heard. How else does it get heard? But I must say, at a sporting event, when you're just trying to be respectful to the person singing, because that is a person at the end of the day, like, yes, to an extent I get it, to another extent I don't. It leaves me feeling very conflicted, and that's kind of all I'll say on the topic regarding that. All I wanted to say, though, was you need to get a little bit more class when it shows Taylor Swift. She did not deserve to be booed. She just was there to support her man, and yes, it didn't go her way, it didn't go the team's way. That's how sporting events go. And granted, that goes back to me talking about Team Canada as well. I might be in that position of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce where they lost. That might happen to Team Canada. I hope it doesn't. Again, not what this is about. Super Bowl next on the list. There were many more celebrities other than Mr. Trump, old Donny Boy himself, and Taylor Swift and Ice Spice, including people like Jay-Z, Bradley Cooper, Paul McCartney, Pete Davidson, Kevin Hart, Paul Rudd, Anne Hathaway, and Jon Batiste as he performed the national anthem prior to the game starting. And that's just to name a few. I'm sure there were more people there. The Super Bowl always has so many people. It's one of the most televised events in history, alongside the even more televised event, the halftime show, because a lot of people just tune in for the halftime show, which this year was Kendrick Lamar. What a legend this man is. Like, complete respect to him. As I said in the last podcast and even podcast episodes prior, I have so much respect for this man. It is insane what he is able to do and the amount, the level he's able to reach literally just on his own. Like, yes, he did have SZA there. She was another celebrity guest, and she came out on stage and sang All the Stars from the Black Panther album that they did together, alongside their new song, Luther off of GNX by Kendrick Lamar. It was awesome to see her there. And also Uncle Sam, Samuel L. Jackson himself as Uncle Sam. He was there too. And a little bit of a surprise guest, which I will get into. It was during the performance that she showed up. But before that, I wanted to say a few commercials that stood out that I personally liked. There were only two, so that's why I wanted to get them out of the way right here. Was a new How to Train Your Dragon trailer. Awesome. It was a little bit of a teaser, and then they released the trailer later on in the week. But still, awesome to see. I'm glad that it's made by the exact same guy, the same director, same mind behind it all. Very exciting, and it looks surprisingly good. I don't usually like live action adaptations, but this one seems to be the right kind of way to do it. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out, and also a new Thunderbolts trailer, which had an asterisk at the end of the name Thunderbolts saying, sorry, the Avengers can't make it, or something like that. The Avengers are not available at this time. It's a new Marvel superhero movie, an ensemble cast of Marvel characters that we have gotten to know over the past couple years. The Thunderbolts. It should be interesting. I'm holding my breath as the new Captain America Brave New World, which is currently out. It dropped on Valentine's Day, is apparently complete ass. Rosie, I know you went and seen it, and you can attest to this. Garbage. I don't want to say that as I can't give my own opinion on it, but I do not like Falcon, that character, even that actor himself. I don't really care for him, never ever have, even in other roles, like when he rap battled Eminem in 8 Mile. Like, he's just not my kind of guy. And I will have to say, in saying all of that, it just, I don't know, I was never excited for the movie itself. Harrison Ford being Red Hulk was kind of cool to see in the trailers, but again, I know nothing about it, no spoilers, I'm not here, don't worry, you won't have to worry about me spoiling a movie that people are currently shitting on. If you want it spoiled, go look it up, because it's being shit on everywhere, and I will eventually watch it, but that is not my top priority. I think, on Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm a little bit behind on the MCU. But that is besides the point. I'm going on a tangent here. It's time to talk about fucking Kendrick Lamar and his halftime show. The reason people watched the Super Bowl this year, Kendrick Lamar. So by the time of the actual halftime show, Kansas was getting blown out of the water. They really didn't show up, and they weren't doing anything like proper whatsoever. I don't know what they were doing. For being a team that's supposed to be that good, they were not being that good. I don't really know what happened. A lot of people are like, oh, it was just the refs that pushed them through the season. I stay out of it. I don't even watch football. I just watch the Super Bowl. Yes, I'm one of those people. I am a part of the problem. But in saying all of that, I believe they didn't even have a single touchdown nor a single point the whole time before the halftime show, which is insane. That has to be some sort of like history maker itself. But by the end of the game, they at least didn't lose completely. Though Kendrick ended up running. It's funny to say this is a stat that they released afterwards. Kendrick himself ended up running more yards during his show, the halftime show, than the Chiefs did the entire game. That is saying something. That is a statement. That is a fucking sad statement that the football team did not run enough yards. They ran less yards than Kendrick Lamar, and he was just performing music. That is insane. But Kendrick took the stage, and instantly I was enamored and struck with the simple fact that this man is here, and he is here to make a statement. Everything that he did, from his statement to his imagery and down to the symbolism, it was so impressive. I literally didn't understand what to even comprehend. I wasn't sure where he was going to go with it, but the fact that he started the way he did and what he had to say in front of the people that he had to say it to, props. Respect. Kendrick Lamar, holy shit. So Uncle Sam as Samuel L. Jackson, or Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam rather, he began the performance, and even the backup dancers that surrounded Kendrick as Kendrick was performing, showing the colors of the American flag, and, you know, literally forming an American flag and then dividing and going all the way all across the stage, dancing like crazy depending on what song and what lyrics were being said and what Uncle Sam had to say to Kendrick. It was something else. It was a performance. It was a dance. It was so well crafted. And he did it all while facing constant discrimination from Uncle Sam, being, you know, the United States, throughout the entire thing. Now, with all my rambles, I'm not going to pretend to know everything Kendrick was trying to say, but what I do know is that people, it's important. You have to understand that. Kendrick was trying to say something of importance, and I wish more people could see that. Because there's a large rift of people that either loved it, and then the other side of it that absolutely hated it, calling it mid and such. I really don't understand why, though. From what I noticed on the internet after seeing the performance, and me personally taking it for everything it was, and yes, I do need to dive even deeper in on it, and if you're interested in that at all, there are people that have done so. Look it up on TikTok. Hell, it's everywhere. Kendrick had something to say, and what he had to say was important, and it's unfortunate that so many people are trying to downplay it as a shitty performance or something they didn't understand because they are just ignorant. Because they are the majority, and this is saying not to be discriminatory, but just based off of looking at the different profile photos of who is saying what on the internet. It is more so the older generation, the ones that are more so white, that don't understand and just called this shit. And then there are the people that liked it, which are more so of the black community, of the younger generation, even if they aren't black. And it's just that divide that we don't only see in the United States, but everywhere in the world. The generational divide that just, yes, it'll probably be something that is always there, but it's just sad that it's there right now because of everything going on in the States and in the world, and just how racism is always such a huge factor. And somebody will see this and instantly, like, hell, even might even think what I'm saying is racist, even though it definitely isn't. It's just a statement of Kendrick is trying to show what he sees and trying to make people wake up and notice these things in a way that isn't just yelling at you and punching you in the face with it. Like, he's very subtle, and he's an artist. That's how these people are. And Kendrick is one of the, I have to say, modern day greats. Anyways, he was constantly teasing his hit, the 5-time Grammy-winning song Not Like Us, throughout the entire performance, and it was to great effect, as when it inevitably hit, it sent literal shockwaves through everyone watching, me included, and how Drake will ever recover is completely beyond me. I don't think this man ever will. How can you? How would you recover from something so iconic with the smile, the definition of a shit-eating grin? Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. Like, come on, man. Looking dead ass at the camera to say that? Oh my God. And then to continue on, the entire Super Bowl crowd literally screaming A minor, Like, that's insane, bro. I know, like, it's absolutely insane. I have no words. You have to watch it. If you didn't watch the performance, turn this off right now. Go watch it. It's even uploaded to Spotify. If you don't want to watch the video, you can listen to it as an audio experience. What a statement. What an absolute banger. Kendrick Lamar. My God. The crowd, the whole song, the crowd was loud, but that was the loudest part. And then, not to mention just that, but the crypt walking that he did, being completely surrounded in a circle, crypt walking on Drake's literal career after that, like, they not like us, they not like us. And then, even more so, Serena Williams. She was crypt walking too. Like, from what I know, she dated Drake. I don't know all the details, but I know that she did that walk at the Olympics and got fucking roasted for it. She does it here and gets celebrated. Celebrated for it. It's so happy. I'm just a fan. I love that this statement is being made, and I am here for every step of the way. And I will say right now, fuck pedophilia, fuck pedophiles, and Kendrick Lamar, you're a legend for calling one out. You fucking did it. You won. Kendrick wins, okay? As always, legendary Kendrick wins. Though to say all of that and calm down a little bit, as I've been yelling a little bit, apologies. The set list for Kendrick's performance was GNX, Squabble Up, Humble, DNA, Euphoria, Man at the Garden, Peekaboo, Luther with SZA, All the Stars with SZA, Not Like Us, Into TV Off with DJ Mustard. Honestly, a very solid set list. I don't know a lot of the songs. Granted, I'm not somebody that's huge into Kendrick, as I mentioned. I want to be, though. Like, I desire to listen to Kendrick more, and this has definitely inspired that even more than anything before. Hell, it even inspired me to the point of wanting to go back and watch his Grammy performance. I believe it was 2016, where he walked on stage in chains and had, like, you know, the cages behind him and actual, like, people that looked like slaves around him. It was, that itself was also such a statement. Like, Kendrick has done this before. He knows how to be heard in an incredibly subtle way. I personally love it. I love everything to do with it. That performance was beyond anything I could have hoped for. I think he truly killed it. And I cannot say enough that Kendrick, you're a legend. Unfortunately, the Chiefs ended up losing afterwards with a score of 22-40 to the Eagles, which must have been Swiftie encoded because 22, right? That has to be something. I'm only slightly delusional, leave me alone. But it can't all be considered as a loss because, as I said, Kendrick, he has been seeing such a surge in listeners, in streams, in sales, and overall buzz. 175% he has risen, according to the US Spotify over on Twitter, and it is safe to say that once again, Kendrick wins. Next on, though, I did just recently get back from Edmonton myself. Granted, this was last week, which was actually before the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl was the big crazy thing going on. I ended up going to see Palaye Royale, and this kind of touches on my past episode talking about Palaye Royale. I finally was able to see them again after many, many years. And I wanted to clarify that, yes, I know Palaye Royale's discography. It started with The End's Beginning, obviously. Well, even if you want to go back further, Morning Light was their first single, and then The End's Beginning EP, which personally I do adore. I have it actually on vinyl record because I got the vinyl with the t-shirt from their web store when it, I think, hit 10 years old. And even the vinyl says it's a bootleg, but it's an official bootleg, so I'm not really sure how that makes sense. I'm assuming the band members went out of their way behind the backs of their label to release it. and had to release it that way. But it had extra songs, maybe not on the vinyl pressing, but the MP3 files that you got emailed to you had some extra tracks. Fucking great. I cannot state that enough. Some of those bonus tracks, the fact they didn't make the EP is criminal, to say the least. But after that, they released Boom Boom Room Side A, then Boom Boom Room Side B, and then they went further on to release The Bastards, Fever Dream, and then they released their few EPs that they had, being Sex Tape, Songs for Sadness, and then Death or Glory. With, of course, some singles here and there that either didn't make an album or were bonus tracks, either or. They are all there. I have every single thing that they've released on vinyl, so I'm not a fake fan. I just wanted to state that, as I know my last episode where I talked to them, I might have missaid a few things, but I wanted to sing some praise to their first EP and the Boom Boom Room, both side A and B, to really just say that they started so incredibly strong that the fact that they were able to keep on going to the caliber that they have been is so cool to see. And the fact that they were able to revamp their sound with every single release, every song, every album is something that not every artist can do and not every band can do, and it is incredibly impressive every time it is done. Palaye Royale, you guys deserve some fucking credit, and I really hope that you get it and have gotten it throughout the rest of this tour, and man, was it ever a fucking show. The trip to Edmonton wasn't that bad, as I went with my buddy Paul, and even with being stuck behind, I want to say like 6 to 8 different extra large vehicles carrying God knows what kind of equipment and buildings on both the way there and the way home. Like, they were massive. They took up the whole road, literally to the point where we had to almost go into the ditch to pass them. Like, not completely, but like we were over the rumble strips all the way over, like as far as we can go, with the roads being full of snow and ice, mind you, the whole entire time. Not anything crazy. It wasn't the worst weather, but still, it's winter time here in Canada. It was a little sketchy, but with all of that being said, it made for a hell of a trip. We ended up leaving, going to West Edmonton Mall and exploring just a little bit. Paul had to make sure he hit up this hot sauce store, and then we hit up Hot Topic, because of course, Hot Topic, it isn't what it used to be, but it's still Hot Topic. You gotta at least go and see what they've got, which I personally didn't buy myself anything, but he did end up buying his wife a little Terrifier cup and himself some Terrifier bracelets, because they both are fans as well, and I believe everyone should give Terrifier a chance. Just a quick plug to Terrifier, because it is a good fucking film franchise. Aside from the point, though, as we were in Edmonton, after that quick stop at West Ed, we made our way down to Midway, which is where the concert was being held. A concert hall that I've been to many times before. As I've even talked about on this podcast, I've seen Valley there. I've seen Dayseeker there, Silverstein. I've seen Talk even there. Like, there's been a lot of bands I have seen up on that stage. I would have seen Mariana's Trench there if I wasn't going to Taylor Swift. But again, I went to Taylor Swift instead. Not gonna lie, that was probably the better show to go to. No shade thrown to Mariana's Trench, just saying I've seen them before. They are great, but I had not seen Taylor Swift yet, so I went to that one. Anyways, I am getting off on too many tangents here. When we went to Midway, we sat in my car, painted our nails together. Sounds super gay. Trust me, it was. No, we painted our nails black because it just felt the vibe. And I always help him because he's not the best with it. And we sit there because we got there early. We sat there and had a few pre-drinks in my car, which, yes, illegal, don't care. We weren't driving anywhere. I'm not that dumb. Don't worry, I don't fuck around with that shit. I've lost people to drinking and driving, but I'm not going to get into that right now, so don't even start to give me shit for it. We were pre-drinking, and while we were pre-drinking and painting our nails, we noticed somebody walk out of the venue. And that somebody was the opener, Johnny Gilbert. I remember this man from the YouTube days. My Digital Escape. If anyone knows what that is, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry to bring you back to that place because nobody really wants to be back to that place. It is not the best time or place to be. Johnny Gilbert, he was the opener, and we actually seen him outside of the stadium, or outside of the venue, rather. It's not a stadium, mind you. We seen him out there, and he was looking in vehicles for some reason. Like, he walked up to a vehicle, and lo and behold, my man ordered some fucking Timmies. My man ordered some fucking Timmies. That is insane. Like, he's in Canada. He's got to, right? Like, he must have thought, like, fuck, I'm in Canada, eh? I better order some Timmies. So he got some Timmies, ended up going back into the venue. It was just a quick little thing that I wish I would have gotten a picture of, but it's something I heard about while in the venue because we were talking to a couple of fans of his that, apparently they seen it on their socials. And we were like, yeah, we were there. We seen that happen. We seen the transaction. And it's just something that I thought was too funny not to bring up. After pre-gaming in my car, though, and seeing that sight, we ended up waiting in line about, I want to say, an hour and a half, as the line was starting to get a bit long, and we didn't want to be at the very end of it, so we sucked it up, we bundled up, and as much as one could, anyways, and waited in line in the fucking cold. It was awful, if not for two lovely girls. One named Beth, the other I cannot remember, but it was her little sister. Honestly, two lovely human beings amongst these other couple of girls that we did run into that were behind them. They got pulled into the conversation a little bit afterwards, but it was great conversation to be had as we were freezing. And it made the time go by way faster than it would have otherwise because it was not nice. It was not nice at all. It was probably minus 15, if not minus 20. Just standing there. Celsius, mind you. We are Canadian. But it made the wait a lot less bearable, and they were two lovely ladies, lovely girls. I just have to say that as well. Just goes on to say that I meet some great people at these shows. Every time I'm able to meet somebody that's either interesting or is fun to talk to, somebody to really make a connection with and enjoy the show with, as we didn't get to see them inside the show, but after, I am jumping ahead a little bit, but after the show, it turns out we parked right next to them without even realizing it. So I got out and, was able to chat with them a little bit more, exchanged Instagrams to then exchange videos afterwards, which, speaking of which, I kind of need to go check my Instagram. It's been a while since I've been on it. Hopefully I haven't been ignoring her, but if I have been, and you're listening by some miracle of a chance, I'm sorry. It was lovely to meet you, though, and I hope we get to talk more. Bring me the horizon. I need to know that lore. Anyways, we were able to have great conversation with these people outside of the venue. By the time we were able to get let in, though, we met one more person. She was named Justice, her name was, and I only say that because she seems to be the leader of the Canadian Palaye Royale team. Completely didn't know that. The fan team, mind you, not the actual team, but I believe on Instagram it is Canada Palaye Crew. I don't know too much on it. I haven't looked too much into it. As I said, I haven't really been on Instagram, but it was cool to meet her and hear some of her stories of following them literally through Europe and a couple other places around the world, and it was wow. I was very impressed. And shout out to her for buying, I want to say, from what it looked like, everything on the merch table. It was insane. The dedication, absolutely insane. Shout out to her. True fan status. Like, verified. Otherwise, though, ended up dumping my coat off at the coat check, along with the things that I bought, which was just a t-shirt. My buddy Paul, he got the nail polish and a coloring book for his son. Since his son is a fan, he just wasn't able to come with us. In any sense, though, not everyone likes big crowds, and that's the reason why, but the energy of the show. Holy shit, the energy of the show. Mind you, Johnny Gilbert, not my cup of tea. I will say that right now. I did not care for his performance one bit. And that's not even to shit on him. I'm not even going to do that here. I believe every artist has their following, every artist has their group, and has their sound. I'm not here to shit on somebody. Again, I don't know his music aside from what we heard at the show. Was not for me, though. It was incredibly emo, like little emo boy, kind of whiny. But I don't mean that in any wrong way. If you like that kind of music, go check him out. You might find a new artist that you love. For me, though, and both Paul and I, we didn't really care for him. And I will have to say I am a little bit sad I didn't get to see the artists that were originally promised when the tour was happening last year around. But the energy for the show when Palaye Royale actually came out, and while they were getting ready, they actually fucked with the crowd a bit on dimming the lights and making them bright and then dimming them and making them bright. Like, it was honestly, they were playing with us, because every time they would brighten the lights, everyone would woo, and then it would go down, and then woo, and then go down. Like, it was fun to be a part of, I will have to say. And the energy of the entire crowd was electric by the time that they got out on stage. And mind you, this show had lots of different kinds of people there. Like, from all ages, younger, older, and all in between, sexualities, races, anything. There were people all over the place. It was an all ages show. Mind you, it seemed that the majority of younger people that we were able to meet in the crowd that we were next to were there for Johnny Gilbert, and then the older crowd were more so for Palaye Royale from what I seen myself. And again, no shade thrown at either artists, but just was what it was. No matter the case, though, everyone was super hyped and excited, and the entire show was such a blur. And I say that in the best way possible. I'm so glad that I was able to record what I was able to, which will be posted on my socials at Lights Monarch. Go check out my TikTok specifically, as I post them all there first. And hopefully you enjoy them. Hopefully they turned out, because I can't lie, I haven't gotten to go back and watch every single one of the videos I took. I kind of took sneak peeks here and there just to freshen up my memory a little bit, but I haven't seen all of them, though. Holy fuck, was it ever legendary. Be it from their whole set list, man. It literally went throughout, I want to say, their whole career aside from their first EP. Like, the set list started with Death or Glory, into Little Bastards, You'll Be Fine, No Love in LA, Just My Type, Tonight Is the Night I Die, Addicted to the Wicked and Twisted, Showbiz, Dying in a Hot Tub, Fucking with My Head, Punching Bag, For You, Fever Dream, Dead to Me, Lonely, and Mr. Dr. Man, which those last three were fucking encore songs. Okay, in saying all that, the set list, I have to break down at least a few songs here. When they got to Dying in a Hot Tub, I'm going to jump right to that, because everything else before was amazing, yes, but when they got to Dying in a Hot Tub, Remington himself got into the crowd. And this is what I love about Palaye Royale, because I remember this about them. They are incredibly personal and intimate with their audience. He got into the crowd and sat on the floor and got us all to sit down with him and started Dying in a Hot Tub. That moment, if I told you there wasn't tears in my eyes, I would be lying. That was a moment that I was waiting to have for so damn long, because the tour that I was supposed to see them at in Edmonton, when that album came out, and that was the song that hit me the hardest in that album, they canceled that tour, that show. I never got to see it until this moment. Years in the making, and even thinking about it is giving me goosebumps. It was so cool and so amazing to see it and to be a part of it. I was literally a person behind him. He was in the middle, there was one person, I was right behind that person. I was there for it. I recorded it too, so you'll be able to watch it if you have any interest. It's there. That was probably the best part of the show for me. Not to mention, of course, when he did get to Punching Bag, when they got that one, they announced that they were singing it. Whoo! That one, when that came out for Fever Dream, that one was the one I preferred over No Love in LA. No Love in LA slaps, but Punching Bag was the one that I related to the most because of my, at the time, very toxic relationship I was in. I lived that. I lived what he was singing to some extent, and it really was insane to say I was able to see it live, finally, from a healthy standpoint and being in a better place in my life. It was so worth it and so cool to come full circle. And of course, Fever Dream, my God, I love that song. I went hard. I went ham for that song. Not to mention also, there were a few times that there were circle pits, and I made sure to go in them each and every fucking time. I would just hand Paul my phone and be like, all right, buddy, I'll catch up with you in a little bit. And I went in and just fucking went ham. I had to. It was Palaye Royale. It has been too damn long since I seen them. I just had to. It was so much fun. My body regretted it afterwards, yes, but I'm still here. I'm still breathing, and it was a memory. They are all memories that I will forever cherish. And I'm so happy I was able to be a part of that, because to get a circle pit started, everyone standing around in the circle and just stomping their feet and clapping their hands to the beat, looking at everyone's eyes and making the eye contact of just like, we're ready to get shit fucking torn up and fucked up. It's so fun. I know it might sound crazy to some extent, but it's so fun. You gotta be a part of it. You gotta be there to really understand it. It was a hell of a time. And obviously they went off stage after Fever Dream. Now, let me tell you, the amount we had that place literally shaking from stomping on the ground and jumping on the floor to get them to come back out was more than I have ever felt in that venue. I have seen some heavy fucking bands in that venue. I have seen bands that are even bigger names in that venue. Think like Skillet and shit like that. That encore, the people chanting for them and stomping on, like, it literally felt like the building could have collapsed around us. We had the place shaking. It was insane. I've never felt that in that venue ever before, and I don't know if I ever will again, because unless if Palaye Royale comes back sometime soon, but regardless, I'm getting off on a tangent here. They also did the light thing again, and it was even louder than before. It was insane. To then them come out and do Dead to Me. Now, mind you, Dead to Me is one that I personally attach to a whole hell of a lot. As I mentioned with Punching Bag, that toxic relationship. By the time Dead to Me came out, I was going through the getting better, getting over that said toxic relationship. And that song really touches on it and is pretty much that. It is getting over it and realizing that you were always better off alone, better off yourself than you ever were with that person. And that's how I felt. That's what I was finally coming to the realization of. And the fact that the song released when it did was the perfect timing. Perfect timing. And to hear it live finally. And to wrap it along live with him, I swear I had a couple people look at me like, what the fuck, this guy knows the words? Or can do all of the words while still, like, screaming it? Insane. I was very impressed with myself, not gonna lie. Mind you, I also had a moment where Remington was right in front of me, so we got to sing to each other, just like a slight moment. Wasn't anything crazy. I didn't want to go off and say, like, sound like some crazy fan, but it did happen, just saying. To hear Dead to Me was crazy. To then go onto a piano and start out Lonely in a different way, what a song that one is. My God, it's probably their most popular one. And then to finish with the most iconic one, at least for me, of their discography being Mr. Doctor Man, the one that, like, you know, I first heard, I would have to say. Their big one at the time when I fucking found them. It was just so fitting and so good. The atmosphere of the crowd, the band themselves, the way Remington jumps into the crowd. There was even a song where he ran to the very back of the crowd in the pit and got everyone to move, like parted the Red Sea, and then got everyone hyped, jump, 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 and then fucking into him. And he was in the pit singing while being bumped into and fucking jumping around. And then he literally, even at other moments, stood on people's hands like their hands were the platforms. He walked on the hands of people. It was insane. It was so cool, and I know I'm just kind of going off about it, but what a good band. An amazing band with amazing energy, and I'm so happy, even with the ups and downs of the relationship that I've had with them, for lack of a better term, I'm just so happy to say that I'm a fan. And to say that I was able to see them again after so long, because it has been too long. And Palaye Royale, please, if you're ever interested in talking, reach out to me. I'm going to reach out to you because fuck, I need to know what goes on in that brain and convince you guys to come here more, please. Because you really throw on some of the best live shows I have ever been to. The most intimate as well, on top of it all. Love it. Cannot wait for the next one because I know the next chance I get, I'm going again. And I will see you guys again. And I really hope that everyone that wants to go see this band is able to at least once, as it is so worth it. And worth every penny, worth every moment. If you can go see them live, do it. Because you won't be disappointed. Then, after the show, anyways, we just ended up talking to the couple girls that we met, and again, exchanging Instagrams, got to talk to them and really see what their favorite parts of the show were, what they bought for merch. Just again, making more connections, making more friends. And then we drove to the usual spot to sleep, came back to GP the next day, and went on with life as per normal. So, here I am, back at it again, talking to you guys. And yeah, it was a hell of a time. I hope you're able to live through me because it was amazing. But lastly, I did want to touch on just a few things that have also been going on outside of all of this, being Emma Roberts. A little bit odd to go from Palaye Royale to Emma Roberts, but she's an old celebrity crush of mine, and she turned 34 just last week, which I wanted to kind of say because, fuck, Emma Roberts, she's like a mom now or something, and she's still just as pretty as she's ever been. Emma Roberts is great. And last week as well, Paramore, This Is Why, it turned 2 years old. Absolutely insane that it is already 2 years since the last Paramore album. Like, hello? Where does time go? Please tell me, somebody. Not to mention also that the song Lost by Linkin Park, yes, the one itself that was seemingly lost to time, that had Chester's vocals left intact, it came out 2 years ago as well. It's insane to think all of that because, wow, This Is Why is an amazing album, and then Lost, that song itself, is so good. So good. From Meteora, I believe. That bonus track. Oh, it would have made the album if not for Numb, which, mind you, looking at it, yeah, Numb, it made it. It is what it is. Can't change history. Lost is a song, though, that gets me and has gotten me through quite a few hard times in my life since it's come out. And the fact it's only been out for 2 years shocked me. And I just had to touch on that. Also, Under Oath, they released All the Love Is Gone from the upcoming album, The Place After This One, which is out March 28th. And Andy Bierzak of Black Veil Brides announced Knives and Pens Publishing. It's a new venture for Andy into the realm of books, which isn't exactly completely new, as he has released his own autobiography with, I believe, Robert Downey, and also The Ghost of Ohio, and with Rare Bird was his autobiography, They Don't Need to Understand. He also did a vinyl book kind of combo with Edgar Allan Poe poems. Really cool. I own both of them. Really cool projects. But he signed a new deal with Rare Bird to make books under this Knives and Pens publishing name. And they seem to be short stories being made around public domain characters and stories, with his very own twist, usually being, you guessed it, like horror-esque themes. And it's starting with the first vampire. I'm not exactly sure the complete details, though they are mentioned on the website. Please go check it out. I'm incredibly excited for it. Don't think I'll be pre-ordering it, as I don't have the money to right now. I would love a signed copy, like absolutely love one. I would love to get the subscription, as you can get subscribed to not only this book, but the other 3 that he has planned. I would love to do it. I'm just a little tight on cash. Can't exactly do it. If I find a way, I'll let you guys know. But very exciting, to say the least. He's got 3 other books planned for the rest of the year alongside this First Vampire, which is the book that starts it all off. And not to mention the book side of everything, but Black Veil Brides. They've been in the studio this year with stuff planned. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I might be delusional hoping for this, but fingers crossed, hopefully it means new music is coming this year with a new album not too far off in the distance. I know, might be delusional. Just really want my favorite band to start releasing some new music because it is time. Anyways, apart from that, Kingdom Hearts Fragmented Keys, a very old and cancelled non-canon Kingdom Hearts game, which was originally planned for phones in the early 2010s, had gameplay shown for the very first time. It finally came out of the depths of somebody's hard drive, and it's crazy how dry the Kingdom Hearts news has gotten when something like this gets fans incredibly excited and hyped to talk about at least something for once. It's just literally anything to cling on to. I had to touch on it though because I am one of those said Kingdom Hearts fans that need to cling on to something at least. Next though, PlayStation. They had their own State of Play again, which had the internet excited and then disappointed as per usual. Not much difference than the normal time they have a State of Play, but mind you, it wasn't anything incredibly exciting for myself. There were some cool things shown off, which I'm not going to really get into because, again, it wasn't anything huge that I personally was anticipating. But if anything huge that I'm anticipating ever gets shown, I'll definitely go off about it. Though, Until Dawn, which is, yes, a video game, but also a upcoming movie that comes out in April 25th, mind you, it got a new trailer. Very interesting to say the least. I'm looking forward to it. Vaguely optimistic. I hope it's good. Don't have much to say about it other than that, though. Just the fact it exists and it's on its way. Otherwise, though, Gromit from Wallace and Gromit had his birthday. Happy birthday, Gromit. It was sometime last week. They also, though, I bring this up because they won 2 BAFTA awards. One for Best Family Film. The second, the big one, mind you, for Best Animated Film. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, won those 2. That is so exciting. I'm so happy. I'm glad Wallace and Gromit still stands up in today's day and age and today's climate. It makes me really happy, and I'm very excited to finally see the film myself. I haven't seen it yet. I was catching up at the time. I finally caught up, and now I just need to go press play when I have a moment, and that will hopefully be sometime this week, so I can finally talk about it with all y'all. Also, new Dayseeker music. It has to be incredibly close because the singer, he showed off a picture from an upcoming music video on his Twitter account. Very exciting. New things are on the horizon. They can't be too far off. And Halsey, another artist, she announced a tour called For My Last Trick Tour. And it seems to be exciting. Nothing close to me, unfortunately. But Crystal, if you get tickets, I hope you are able to maybe bring me, because that would be kind of cool. But again, there's a lot going on this year. I don't know exactly the extent of everything, so if not, that's fine. I just hope all of the fans out there are able to get tickets, because I know this one's probably going to sell out real quick if it hasn't already. I don't know when it goes on sales or really the exact details of it, but I'm sure it's going to be a hit. And also, Hayley Williams, she joined Phineas on stage to perform in Nashville, and she performed a cover of Crush, Crush, Crush on February 13th, right before Valentine's Day, which I thought was very fitting, and again, just love that these artists are supporting such a legend. I adore Hayley Williams to my core. That's something that will never change, and it was really cool to see their rendition of it. Not to mention also Blink-182, they were rejoined by Matt Skiba to perform Bored to Death. Personally, their album California is one that I adore. I attach to it big time at a time in my life, and I would love to see them go the 3 Days Grace route. I don't know why, but I think it would be really interesting, because 3 Days Grace is currently doing the double vocalist thing. It would be really cool to see Blink-182 try out the same thing. If not for a whole album, then at least for a song or two, to even just go back to that kind of sound that California had. I personally love that album, and to those that hate it, fuck yourself. Let me enjoy what I enjoy, because I let you enjoy what you enjoy. Like, come on. But just wanted to touch on that. Also, Saturday Night Live, a huge fucking thing. It reaches a milestone of 50 years old. How is that possible? How has it been 50 years old? Like, that blows my mind. And it was celebrated with many performances and many legends appearing on being either in the crowd or in different skits or just being there in general. It was insane. And Lady Gaga, again, shout out to her. She even performed and sang Dick in a Box with Andy Samberg. Like, what a legend. Oh my God. There was so much that happened with that. It honestly would deserve its own episode. If anyone's even interested, let me know. I will check it out and relay what happens. But crazy that it happened. Happy fucking 50th SNL. And to go on a little bit of a sadder note, sadly, the Amity Affliction, they officially have confirmed that Aaron Stringer is no longer a part of the band, saying that he will no longer be touring or recording with the Amity Affliction, which is personally kind of sad to say. I don't know the guy. I don't know how problematic he may have been, or maybe the band was problematic to him. I don't know. I don't know the situation. It's something that I have to look into, and when I do, I'll let everyone know here, because I will see them, hopefully, at When We Were Young Fest, and God knows if I'll really have it all pieced together by then. But it's just sad to see that that is the case. It's always sad to see an artist not be a part of a band anymore, and he is very adamant of just kind of saying fuck you guys to the rest of the band. So they probably will never get back together, or at least not for a very, very long time. They're going their separate ways. From what I read on the entire statement, which is on their own page, they essentially just said they wanted to take things more seriously, and he wasn't about that. They wanted to tour a whole lot more and release a lot more content, a lot more songs, a lot more art, and he wasn't personally for that. So I'm hoping it means good things are on the way for the Amity Affliction. I don't know for sure, though. No one will until... It's all a matter of time. It is all a matter of time. The future is either very bright or incredibly dark for them. And which kind of route they go down will be interesting to see. And lastly, to end on a happy note after all of that, with something that I personally was happy to hear about, is that Gracie Abrams is to be honored with Songwriter of the Year at this year's Billboard Women in Music. I'm not sure exactly what that show is about or when it happens. I seen it posted by Popbase, and I was excited because I love Gracie Abrams. She my girl, personally. I wish. She's amazing. She's so pretty. She's so talented. Very happy that she gets the recognition that she deserves. And I hope everyone is able to, amongst the Kendricks, the Gracie Abrams, the Taylor Swifts, the Lady Gagas, all of them. It's just so exciting to see what artists are able to do nowadays and the performance they're able to put on in live events like Palaye Royale, down to the Super Bowl at Kendrick Lamar. It's all so insane, so exciting. To be a part of the music culture right now is so invigorating and inspiring. And I hope that it brings inspiration to everyone listening and everyone that is a part of it alongside me. So keep an eye out for new releases this week from names like Paris, featuring Spirit Box, mind you, insane that that's happening, Killswitch Engage, and Silverstein, as they have an album, I believe, coming out at the end of the week. I could be wrong, but I think so, and many more. In saying all of that, though, I've been Lights Monarch. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for discovering the music within.